Okay, the next section we want to get to is building out this beautiful blog. And there are two parts to the blog. There's the blog listing page that has all of the different blog posts that we have, and then the individual single blog page. So the first thing we're going to create is the single one, and we'll work out from there a little bit. Now, just like we have page.php, which WordPress uses for any new pages that we have, instead of blog.php, WordPress uses single.php for single blog posts. And we'll get into this more in the describing the template directory or the template hierarchy that WordPress uses. But for a single blog listing page, you'll use a page template called single.php. And you can go in and look right now. If you go in and look at posts, which we've added some dummy content in here, just anything, you can go ahead and add this stuff. But if you go ahead and just look at a post, it's just pulling from our index.php right now. Yeah. So that's obviously not what the post is supposed to look like. So let's create a template file for those single blog listing pages. And that's called single. And I'm actually going to first go into my page.php and edit and grab all of this, because this is the very similar content that we're going to have there, or some of the content is, and go back into your single PHP, paste that on in. So we have the header, the loop that starts here, the top element, and then the entry content is going to be different, so we'll delete that. And then in the entry header here, let's look at our on our HTML theme. This is just called blog on every single page. So instead of putting that dynamic, the title, let's just call this blog. Whoops. And actually that doesn't have to be inside the loop. It can be above the loop here. Okay. So now we have the WordPress loop, and that's going to output whatever content we want in it. So let's look at our page here. So there's a lot of different things inside of here. First, let's get the structure right, though. So the top element, this is right, and the footer element's right. But let's just copy all this HTML code to make sure the structure pretty much resembles it in the entry content area. Copy your entry content and throw that all inside the loop.
Oh, got a whole lot there.
Yep.
You grab the sidebar too.
Yeah.
We want that.
That's exactly what we want to do. So let's just save it and look at this single post again to make sure it's pulling from that template.
Nice.
And it is, and we could just call that a day, leave that as is, but this is again static content. So now we need to make it all dynamic. But that's looking just about the same as that, except for the broken link to the image there. So now let's go ahead and use our knowledge of fields and the WordPress fields to make this content dynamic. Let's find out where the content's entered. First of all, there's a date here, which is entered statically, and we're going to use a PHP function in WordPress. And if I just use some basic math here based on the way WordPress is doing almost everything else, I would assume that it's just called the date, and I would put that in. And feel free to do the same thing. If you're on the back end here in your control panel or in a file manager, make a PHP change and see if it works, because you're going to learn that way and learn to think like WordPress thinks, which will make your life a lot easier. So I've changed that to a PHP function called the date, and what do I get? Actually, that's exactly right.
Yep.
PHP the date, and it's actually the same formatting that I already had it in. Now there is a way to format this more specifically by passing an argument in here.
Yeah, you can give it like the year. And
so you could say, some content inside of here, Y stands for year. I think you can just put in Y, and it's just going to have the year that it outputs. Right, just the year. So you can look up PHP the date, or how to enter the date in WordPress, and you can find out more information about this specific function. It's working exactly like we want it to right now without that Y, so I'm going to leave that alone. Let's go to the next section, which is the entry title, it looks like, and there's the name of it. So let's add our PHP function, and we already know that one. That's called the title. This one, I think we've done this before too. The link itself, obviously shouldn't be a static link every time. If there's a link at all on this page, and actually I usually wouldn't have a link on a single blog listing page because it's just going to link back to itself. But if you did want to have a link, you could use the permalink.
It's really just because it looks pretty in this case.
The green is nice, yeah. So here's the author, posted by an author name. Let's try and see if WordPress likes the author. My goodness. My little Mac keyboard is not happy with me. Okay, let's see if that looks right.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm the author, I'm the admin. The post title is right. So let's get to the next section. All of these P tags are going to be our content area. So let's replace those with the PHP function for the content. Anyone picking up on this yet? This is pretty sweet. Pretty easy stuff. Come on, there we go. And category links. Okay, so posted in. Here's the name of the category. So I'll call that. Remembering our syntax for everything, which is every statement on one line needs to end with this semicolon, and then we need to close our PHP afterwards. I'm assuming that's called the category. I actually know that's what it's called. Posted in token, which is the name of the category in this case. So this whole left area is dynamic now, so that's pretty much good to go. And actually the only thing we need to do is we need to make the right side of the theme dynamic, because right now this is all static.
Yeah, and if we want this to look exactly like it does in the other one, all we have to do is change the name of the post now, and in the WYSIWYG, drop all of this lorem ipsum content in there, and it's going to look exactly like we want it to.
Exactly. Let's do that real quick. I'm going to put all that content in. I mean, this is stuff you're going to do for a client anyways, so. And you might change the permalink here from new post if you were going to make these changes. And then you would change the category.
There we go.
That's looking pretty great. Right. So in the next video, we're going to get this set up with a dynamic sidebar instead of pulling statically. And then we'll get to the blog listing page with all of your blog posts.
See you in the next section.